Technical difficulty, guys. I do apologize. I f***ed the mics up, so I'm gonna redo that intro because I don't even know if it got. But welcome back to the show, guys. Today I traveled all the way to Glendora. I had the pleasure of sparring for like close to 2 hours over at the Shack System. I do want to just give my warmest thank you to the owner, head coach, Coach Rusty. I know you guys might have seen him before. Like I said, Shack System, baby. Let's go.
Thank you, brother, for having me. I know it's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this going for like over a year. Like I said prior, we touched base at the OC Fight Club at the Hawaiian Gardens, and then randomly you're just like, we'll come out there, and I was like, let's get it, man. So here we are, doing it inside the gym after sparring. God, it was hot,
dude.
Hot. So it's actually kind of cool in here now. But what'd you think, man, of your time spent?
Dude, I really had a good experience here, bro. I honestly would be down to come down here like once a month to train here a little more on your Sundays, dude. Because it was like 30 rounds of sparring. I sat out like 6-7 rounds maybe, bro. That's questionable too, bro. Might have been more, but I just was like dead, bro. You know, and the sparring was good, bro. Your guys were tight. Everyone was taking care of each other. You know, no one had an ego. No one was trying to like rip my head off. You know. I mean, the hardest round I probably had was with Andy, but we didn't like know each other, you know. It wasn't even like we were fighting or anything. It was very like still like controlled, you know.
Yeah. It's more like a technical push. Like you're getting like, it's almost like it's not that fire, but it's like you could feel that warmth, right? It's
yeah,
like
a little more oomph.
You're taking care of each other, but it's still keeping that competitive push to where it's like we want to give each other that work. You know what I mean? I'm glad you enjoyed it, bro. Like, I seen it on your podcast, your last one. You know, you guys were kind of talking about like cross training, and you guys even hit it. You know, saying like, you know, there's some gyms don't like cross train. There's some that are okay with it. There's some gyms that have like big. I've seen gyms where they like get on their Instagrams and like talk about how their gym never cross trains. This isn't this, right? And they're just like, whatever. And then I think the funniest thing about a lot of those gyms is they're always like those real like traditional Thai gyms, right? And they're like, well, you don't do it like this. Then you look at like gym like PK Sanchai gym in Thailand, and like everybody goes there. You got Kalnar there, you got Rodlik, you got Sanchai, you got Topage there, you got like everybody trains. They go there. That's like the hub for like, oh, if you want to train with a bunch of champions, they go there, you know. And not to say there's not other places they can go, but like that's one of the gyms that
welcomes like that.
Yeah, they talk about that. You know, they talk about that. I had a homie, his name is Kerry. He went out there, trained there. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, bro, that's what I'd love to create here is like at PK Sanchai here, like for California, for other teams. Like, you know, you got good guys that want good work. And you guys want to push each other, but like have a good time with it, which it should be. We're here, you know. We don't want nobody to get hurt. I trained too before, and like there's nothing worse than like going to another gym and then like you getting hurt, or like those dudes are trying to knock you out, and then like your coach will ask about it, like, hey, how was the sparring over there? And like you don't want to lie and be like, oh, it was cool. You know what I mean? So you'd be like, this wasn't. I don't know. I always would be like, it just wasn't the work, you know, like it was just no control, or it was really like not technical, to where it's like, I don't need to be getting hurt in somebody else's gym, or same thing when I take my guys somewhere, it's be like, oh, you know what, maybe this gym is worth coming back to. Maybe this one's not. And, so we try to do that here, take care of each other. Plus, you know, bro, like I said earlier, you know, you only get one brain. Like we could break this, they could fix it. They could give you a fake arm. You know, and people live like that, but it's like you only get one brain, like, you know, and once it's gone, it's gone, man. And some of these kids, they might want to do this competitively, but they might hit a point where like they don't want to do it anymore. And then it's like, well, how much of your brain you got left to maybe go to college or do it? Life. You know what I mean? To deal with life. And so I think taking care of each other's brains is like numero uno. And then like, you know, like I said earlier, like, you know, you want to take some body shots or, you know, tag up the leg a little bit, as long as you're not like wrecking someone's leg, like go for it, you know, and body shots clean, take it, you know?
Yeah.
but I think, you know, having fun with it is ultimately like what's created the environment that we have. Is like, like you said, there's no ego. It's just having a good time. It's like going to their cousin's house and playing in the bounce house.
Yeah.
You know, it gets a little aggressive in the bounce house, but like at the end of the day, everybody's playing. You know?
You're not trying to hurt your cousin.
Yeah, you know, like maybe somebody gets stepped on and one of the younger kids and they're crying. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all love and everybody's taking care of each other. So I'm glad you had that experience here, bro. You know? Yeah.
Speaking on like visiting other gyms, dude, it's more common to go there and it's like if it's your first time, you already know you're gonna get put through the ringer, bro. Because they're just trying to. It's just common they just want to test you. I'm not gonna say it's good or a bad thing, but it's just what it usually is, you know.
Yeah.
Unless you get invited by like a member there that's like a solid, and they're like, "It's my homie," you know.
Yeah. No, we've had that where it's like you walk in and then you're like
they just size you up. They just want to know. And then people are curious, bro. You know.
Yeah. It's like they grab the shields and the swords. It's like defend the honor of the gym.
Right.
Defend the honor of the gym.
Yeah.
So it's like we've been to a few places like that. I would say it's always better when you like your homies with somebody because then it's like, hey, my homies are coming through, or like the coach's friends are coming through. Because then it's like, all right, it's not.
It's a little more like
like as my dad would say, like the pissing contest, right? It's not a pissing contest. It's like you're just here to work, you know, and that's what it should be. Like you said, there's hard sparring days. You know, they got their place and stuff, but I ultimately think hard sparring should be for your team. Like, because if someone's gonna get hurt or get hit with something and be upset, like it shouldn't be a guest, right? Like, because I think things can like. It's sparring. Things can get hot real quick. And if someone gets hit, like if someone explodes, that other person explodes, like that could even ruin the relationship that I have with like somebody cool, right? It's like, hey man, that's my homie. Why are you getting live with him? And he's like, well, he hit me hard. And then it's like, hey bro, why are you hitting my student like that? Or, you know what I mean? So I think having that control and not having that ego and all that, it's like, it's very important, I think, for growth too. You know, people growing, people progressing, and then too, like I don't know, I've been hit a few times. Like I remember doing like pro practice at some gyms where it's like you go in wanting to work some stuff, but then like if those, like you said, if those guys aren't in that mindset to like to work like that, it's like, damn, you're getting tagged, and then the next thing you know, you're just like, all right, let's go, and you're doing what you know and what you're good at. And then it's not really like learning. You're just kind of like going tit for tat, or you're just like matching that level of intensity. And to me, like I like being able to, like, you know, it's good. It's harder to do new things with these guys because I feel like they're really sharp. But it's not like I'm getting hit to where I don't want to try new things, right? Because sometimes you get hit so hard by somebody where you're just like, I'm keeping my hands up.
Yeah,
like with this guy. Like, I'm just keeping hands up. I'm gonna pop jab. I'm gonna hit teep. I'm gonna hit leg kick. Like I ain't letting this guy get near me with that overhand again. Where maybe someone hits you with an overhand and it was like kind of playful. Where you're like, okay, I know the overhand's coming. Maybe I could like hit, roll the overhand, or hit, trap the overhand. You know, and maybe like just play with that situation a little bit more, as opposed to this like. And then you're like, oh damn! I think I seen some video the other day, and like the guy just blasted the dude. He was like, you're supposed to be like sparring, but like the guy hit the guy so hard, just like walk. I was like, god damn!
Anderley Silva,
like
type of sparring,
damn, bro. Like, and then it's like, I don't think he was from the gym, because I feel like if you were from the gym and like you accidentally hit someone and like knock them out, or you hurt them, you cut them. You're like automatically like, hey bro, you good?
You feel bad, right?
This guy like hit him and like did the whole like walk off, you know, turned his back, walked to the corner. So I was just like, damn, like was that like that the other guy didn't look like he was like hard sparring, you know what I mean? The other guy looked like he was like more bouncing. And then he like went to hook and the guy stepped back and was just like crack. And this guy's like,
yeah, was it boxing or what?
I want to say it was boxing video, yeah.
I feel like boxing is like kind of like, that's just the vibe I get from that type of sparring, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I used to go with my cousin. He's a professional fighter, Mikey Anchondo. I used to go work with him at Fortunes. And I wouldn't say I've seen that as much, like, cause I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time there like every day, but you can see like
type of
difference. Yeah. Like where it's a little bit more playful, and like, I would say like in the Muay Thai gym, like, it's maybe it's a little bit more ego driven in the boxing gym, or I don't know. Maybe that just depends on the coach too, you know, or the culture in the gym. But I feel like Instagram kind of, I don't know, but maybe that's just what we see too, you know, on Instagram. I feel like Instagram has a way of like sometimes giving us, you know, sometimes giving us like the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, and I feel like maybe some of these, and I know there is, because there's good coaches in this community. I feel like the good coaches, they don't get that same like love, because it's not Instagram. Like, no one wants to see guys like technically doing the thing, right? They want to see guys getting hurt, or I don't know. I heard some guys, we were like talking about, he went and watched like a fight. I don't remember if it was like kickboxing or Muay Thai, but the first thing out of his mouth was like, the matchmaking was whack. And then I was like, how so? Like bad calls? And he's like, nah, nobody got knocked out.
Oh, he's
like,
down.
Everybody,
he's down for that shit.
Everybody, like, it was like all decisions. And I was just like, oh man, that's kind of like strange. Like, he's like an older dude, you know, and more the casual.
Yeah.
But then I was just thinking like, I think you like to see the guys knocked out, but sometimes these guys are getting knocked out, they're not like technically there yet, which kind of sucks for those guys too, because I feel like there's a few promotions I felt like in California that was kind of setting guys up like that for the entertainment aspect. Like, I'm gonna put a couple.
You gotta build your guy up.
You know, and so it's like
that, you know,
these guys are getting knocked out, and then it's like, yeah, this is the best promotion ever. But
we like that as fans, though.
I know. Like, I'm gonna give a shout out. His name is Lino. His Main Event Muay Thai. He's super cool. When I was in my garage, he was always giving me like little tidbits and always telling me, keep going, bro. I think he started in his garage too. And now he's one of the bigger gyms up there, and he actually puts on Rising Stars.
Rising Stars is,
and one of the things like I've heard him on a podcast talking about is like on Rising Stars, like no one's like maybe on like all the cards together has been maybe a few knockouts, but like the cards so evenly matched, like the fights, it's hard to get that knockout. You know, these guys are so good or so evenly matched. Like, it's not one-sided towards like if these guys want a knockout, they got to be working. Yeah. For it, you know what I mean?
Like 10-9 rounds. All the way across,
you know what I mean? So I think it has its place. I think, like you said, you know, as spectators, people do want to see the knockout, but I also think, you know, as like coaches, and you want to see
longevity.
Yeah, you want to see longevity, and you want to see the sport grow. I don't think the sport grows by just dudes getting knocked out all the time. Like, you know, it's cool for like the entertainment aspect of people who are like paying for it, who might not understand the sport as much as like people that train. But I also think, like, you know, if that guy who got knocked out was matched up with somebody who was just as good as him, like, would he have gotten knocked out?
Yeah.
You know, like harder. Maybe he would have won that fight.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like he's going out there against a guy that's like, maybe you can tell is technically more sound.
Yeah, or just have better cardio sometimes, you know?
Yeah, or I feel like that's what's happening. What's his name? I think you guys were talking about him on the last. I'm telling you, I watched your last.
I appreciate it.
You were talking about Kelly Pullout.
Yeah, Kelly Pullout. Yeah.
And
dude, they're funny, bro.
And one of the things, like, it rang true, and like it's like been like marinating in my brain, because it's one of those things I think you see as a coach, but sometimes you just don't think about it, or you're not like putting it in like in like the bag of like things that's like perspective wise. But he was like saying like some of these fights, the guys are losing to sheer cardio. Like, the guy's winning the first half of the fight, and then the guy who's not as good as him just has better cardio, and he's taking the fight. Yeah. Right? And so some of these guys are just losing off of just not having bad cardio.
Important, bro.
And not just doing that extra maybe running or the extra work. But yeah, I tell people all the time, there's more to fighting than just punching and kicking, right? There's like X's and O's, right? Like coaching, like football, like, you know, there's a lot to it. I
supplement the fighting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot.
Training, you know?
There's a lot I think people don't take into consideration, and I think I'm even still new to this, to where like there's coaches that have been doing this like 3-4 times longer than me. So I'm still learning, and it's always cool to like pick a coach's brain, or even like see something like that he posted, and just think like, Yeah, I see that all the time, and I didn't even really think about it to that extent. I know it. That's why my guys do like we push the cardio, but it wasn't like one of those things where I'm thinking like, hey, like most of these fights could be won off of
just cardio alone.
Just cardio alone, right? At that beginning level, right? Because you got so many like variables. You got the nerves, first fight, debut, like the people screaming. You're thinking about your people in the crowd.
Cut,
the cut. Was the cut good? Did you sleep good that night?
Your girl, bro.
Yeah. You know I mean, there's just so many things. Did your coach help out? Do you feel mentally and physically prepared for that? Are you nervous? Are you ready to go? Did you eat? Did you not? Like, are you the first fight? Are you the last fight?
Yeah.
I feel like some of that stuff, there's like so many variables in that.
But cardio you can control, bro.
Yeah,
you can't
so
control
at
those,
that level, like if your cardio is good and you have, decent technique, I feel like at the beginning levels, like, first, let's say like 1 through 3 fights, like if you're primed for cardio and your technique is decent, like I think you'll have an upper hand on what I think most people are training today, you know what I mean? Like, or the way they're training. And I think that's just the end all be all. And I think he hit the nail right on the head when he said that, So yeah, your podcast, the last one, bro, was cool. It was like real insightful.
Sergio was cool, bro. Plus I had Drew on, dude. It's like 2 guys that have, a ton of fights. So experience.
And then you guys got like on some other topics and different stuff. So it was like it was a good podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I even have like I said, like I have, I heard Sergio say some stuff where I was just like, you know what, dude, that's really like class act, of him to say that or to like think that way and not like act another way. And I thought it was really cool because I don't really know him per se, but I thought that was like, oh man,
not so different.
Yeah. Or even just
humanizes.
like, or you just see what you see. So I don't really know him per se, but it was just cool to like see him sit down and talk, and then just be like, oh, this guy's got some cool shit to say. Had I not listened to it, I would just know what I know from what I see on Instagram, or whatever people post.
People say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. I really try to do with my podcast, bro. It's like the only direction I have is I try to humanize the people, dude, Because I'm used to seeing these people fight, but I never had a conversation with them, So I just want them to speak whatever their mind is, bro, and I just let it run, bro. Like, if you want to sit and talk about conspiracy for like 2 hours, bro, that's what the podcast is going to be, bro. Like, I have no purpose other than just letting you be you, Because I think that's cool, man, is just seeing like that other aspect of someone other than just when they're in the ring,
Yeah, people are more complex than just like
1000%.
one thing that you see them do good. Some guys are. I think that's how I was telling Vinny. I was like, we were talking about a podcast a while back, and then I was like, what would be a dope podcast? Someone's gonna see this and steal it. I was like, because he raps. And he's like lyricist and writes. And then I play drums. There's my little drum right here. There's like a little hand drum. And I was like, bro, like I meet so many people in the community who like sing or they play some kind of instrument or they played as a kid or like they're influenced by music. Not only that, but it's like, what does like every fighter have on their head at fight day in the back room? What do they have on their head, around their ears? Headphones, and they're listening to music.
Yeah.
Like music's huge. Like music was a big part of my life. I know music was like a way I escaped a lot of like the crazy that was like going on in my day-to-day life as a kid. So I remember when I found music was just like my escape. So I know like music is huge for some people. Like even in Thailand, the music, or even they do it here too, right? The music starts in some of the Thai fights that we have here. They put on the music. The music's on. The music for the White Crew gets
faster and faster.
Or then that's the White Crew. The music as they're fighting gets faster and faster around. And then even the music for the White Crew, like it's like fueling the fighter as he's sealing the ring. It's fueling the fighter as he's going through his White Crew. It's like they feel that music. They feel that like frequency.
Very spiritual.
Yeah, and music's very primal. You think about like,
yeah, dude.
Like you can give a baby like sticks or something and they'll just pound on things. Like not even being taught.
Right? Rhythm, bro.
Yeah, music is just very primal. So I feel like I was telling him it'd be like sick, like music in Muay Thai or music in martial arts, right? Because like I feel like I feel like it's a big spectrum of like like sometimes it'd be like, oh, 1 in 5 guys fights. But I feel like 4 in 5 martial artists is dabbled with a musical instrument, or they love music on some kind of level where it's like more than just like, oh, I'm just listening to like Taylor Swift, or I'm just listening to like Jay-Z or whatever it is, you know?
I think it highlights like the modern fighter, right? Because you think they're like this jock and this dude that just is like lifting weights and hitting pads and shit like that. But I think the reality is most martial artists are still artists, bro. It's just the way they express their art is through violence, you know?
Yeah.
But, like music is like I find that a lot of fighters that I meet, they're into music or drawing or something or tattooing.
Yeah.
It's like a common like thread, you know?
Yeah, I would say a lot of martial artists are like big nerds.
Not
like,
for sure, bro.
Yeah, I like comics. I like anime. I can name
So
10. I can name 10 other people from 10 other gyms. Like if you
Yu-Gi-Oh!
had
Bro.
like if you had like a Naruto shirt on, like those dudes would be like, oh, they're so dope. I remember Jordan. I can't think of his last name. He trains out. He does the love movement, all that. I remember Jordan used to rock the little Naruto sweats to all the weigh-ins. And then my guy Jesse would go crazy. Oh, no. And then other people, you know, it was always like,
That's my guy.
yeah, it's just like, like at the end of the day, it's like we're all just like, we nerd out on martial arts, we nerd out on comics, we nerd out on anime, we nerd out on music, or whatever it is, like stats or whatever conspiracies, right? I feel like
it's such a unique sport, bro, because it's not like football or like basketball. It's like it's very specific individuals going to fighting, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like you said, nowadays it's so much different. Like I feel like maybe like 20 years ago, like you'll even hear some old cats talk about it, how like tattoos, bald heads, and like there was like a look to a fighter.
Yeah,
but now it's like the fighter could look like, I used to have a student, he used to work at Starbucks. He's like a nicest guy, little glasses, little apron, but dude, this guy would get in the cage, he was just like a pit bull, bro. He was just nasty. And so it's like, even my brother one time, they were like messing around, and he got like my brother in like an arm bar, and like my brother was like, hey, and then he was like, dude, like if I ever like just bumped into you on the street randomly, I would never thought you could do something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it is nowadays. It's like, it's not even the big cholo guys or the big muscle dudes or the tattoo guys that could beat you up. It's like the nerd with the glasses and the little satchel.
You just sit there studying fights all night, bro, you know?
Yeah, so it's like, oh man, you better watch out, because
it
feels like everybody knows something nowadays. I feel like martial arts or combat sports has gotten so big that like somebody dabbles in something, wrestling, jiu-jitsu.
UFC, bro.
Yeah, so it's gotten huge. So boxing, you even got older people that like to do just like cardio stuff because like they got into it, right? I like the UFC, so I want to do this. So it's a broad, huge area of like the people in the community. Like you said, it's not like regular sports where like everybody's a jock or everybody's like almost like
meathead type.
Yeah. It's almost like everybody's like the same person. It's definitely different. Yeah, for sure, man.
But even just think of being in the locker room for like someone that's about to walk into their fight versus someone that's going to play their first football game. The vibe is so different, bro. You know, not first football game, but a football game. Usually football players, they're in the locker room, they're loud and bumptious, like, yeah, unity, you know? They're getting all psyched, but then you go to like a fighter's locker room and they're like quiet, they're in their own little...
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like very solemn. Yeah, and then it's like you're not sure,
bro.
You're not even sure what you should do as a coach. Or like, should I try to like talk to him, motivate him? Should I just leave him alone?
Yeah.
Does he just want to not be talked to? Even that's a craft in itself. Is like figuring out your fighters because like some guys they want to be talked to, or sometimes they're nervous and talking to them makes them just feel a little bit more at ease. Where sometimes guys are just like, I just want to
be quiet,
put on my earphones and just take a nap and just zone out.
1000%.
So yeah, it's definitely it could be night and day forever, just in the whole community. You know? So it's cool, man. Yeah,
it's very unique, dude, and I think that's why there's longevity in the sport, is because once you get sucked in, bro, it's so hard to stop doing it. Because what do you do, man? Like versus, you know, people stop playing football, people stop playing basketball or whatever, dude. You know, eventually get into golf or something. But it's very easy. A Thai fighter, like a jiu-jitsu dude, stop doing jits and Muay Thai to go pick up golf. You know? Yeah, I feel like, and then you hear that a lot too with like maybe somebody that trained for like 6-7 years and then they get hurt. Yeah, they always get that itch to go back. Like, oh, you know, I messed up my shoulder. Jiu-jitsu, I've been wanting to get back, or like
the guy's like, oh, I got to take a break from Muay Thai or kickboxing, whatever, because of work. But it's like they always have that itch to get back in it. And then, like you said, they kind of stay involved, like
somewhere
in some way or another, And it's pretty cool because I feel like the sport, it doesn't get enough of like the credit it should for like how positive.
Oh yeah.
How much good it can do for
your life,
for everybody, for kids, teenagers, adults, the community. And I think people see more like traditional sports in that manner.
Yeah, like America,
like the football team, that brings camaraderie, and it does, because that's what it is. But it's like people like sleep on like what goes on in a gym on like a 20. And I mean, football is. I tell people all the time, like sports are seasonal. Like you got that coach, 6 months or 3 months, 4 months, and then you don't even see him anymore. Maybe you see him
preseason. You know what I mean?
Like this is a lifestyle. Like I see my students more than I see than my brother or my, some of my nephews. I see these kids like 4 days a week, every day. There's almost no days off. Like we close, I think, just Christmas and. I think that's it. We close
Father's Day. We're here, bro.
Yeah. I think
Happy Father's Day too, brother.
Thank you, sir. we close just Christmas, and I think that's it, bro. That's the only day we close, and because we used to have the garage, and then like I had a couple students who like don't have like the family unit, so then I'd always be like, I'm not going to close the doors on holidays to like people who don't have
nothing to do
or nowhere to go. At least like for that 2 hours, 3 hours where we're all here. At least they have that, and then if they want to come and eat, like with me and my family, they're more than welcome to come and join me, And I've always opened my door to my family, or to my family here, to my family at home, I tell them like, hey, we're going to have this. You guys are more than welcome to come. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't. But,
It's kind of you got to build that bond, for some people,
but they know those doors are like open for them, and I try to tell people all the time, like, I feel like parents don't see that. They're quick to like give to like the Pop Warner and quick to like spend all this money on baseball and this stuff. And it's like, for what? Like coaches that rotate in and out, especially Little League. A lot of times, I remember I played baseball for a long time, and it's like, it was always like somebody's dad was the coach.
Yeah, that's usually
right. It was like the star player's dad was the coach. And he coached because he wanted to make sure his son was getting the opportunity or getting the time he should, or he felt like he could do it better than the last guy.
Yeah, the other dad.
So it's like, but none of these guys are like sitting there for years, unless they're like maybe like a major league coach or like college coach or something like that.
No, they're not hiring that.
Like there's very few little league coaches that are sitting there like where it's like, oh, this is my life for the rest of it, right? I'm just going to coach little league and make sure that these kids all develop and they have a community. It's just like, let's just get them in, teach them the fundamentals. And, I was actually pretty fortunate, though, to be part of it's out here in West Covina. It's called Cary Youth League. That's Adam and Noah. So the one Adam you moved with today, they were part of that too. And it's actually a year-round sports. So like, actually, I take that back. If you're in a program like that, you actually do get some.
What is it? It's like all sports or what?
Yeah. So I remember as a kid, it was like more of an inner city thing. Like my dad was always like in and out of prison. So then my mom was always trying to find like some way to keep us busy because she was always working. So I remember like we went to this like YMCA like that was hooked up to our school. And then like the little program would like pick you up in like a van. And then just pick up a bunch of other kids.
From your house or from the school?
From the school. And then they take you to the practice, and then you practice, and then your parents will like pick you up from practice. But that was a pretty cool experience. But I felt like that's where I kind of almost like hijacked that, like for this.
Yeah.
Like the coaches that were cool with that, like those coaches kind of inspired me to do something like similar like that for here. Yeah. Like I've even thought about like, man, it'd be dope to get like maybe a beater van that's just like, who cares how it looks, but
go pick kids up.
Yeah, because I've heard so many times the parents would be like, oh, I don't get out till like 5:30, and it's like, bro, like you guys are local, like maybe there can be a time where I get a van and like I can pick up like 6 or 7 kids that are just like local, and then it's like those kids could train, and then it's like well, you'll be out by 7:00, right? You can just pick up your kids at the gym.
That's tight, bro.
You know,
I like that idea, bro.
That's like the goal eventually, you know, do stuff like that. Put myself in a position to help the community more like that, you know. Right now we do what we can, like as far as like sliding scale or like, even bro, I even have some students, like if they can't pay, I tell them like, talk to the parents, like what can you guys give that doesn't break the bank, or, you know what I mean? That, because I want your kids here ultimately, or like
a trade or something.
Yeah.
Skills
Remember I was telling you, like bartering and stuff. And there's even been times where people were like, oh, you know, we can't afford to be here this month. And I mean, I'm not going to do it all the time for like everybody, and because people see, they try to take advantage sometimes.
There's always going to be those people, bro.
But I'm a pretty good judge of like character, who I get to know, or like if they've been here for like 2 years and they're just like, you know, something happened and I can't afford to keep my son, and I'll just be like, just keep him here. I'd rather them be here for that month than not be here and like fall off, or like maybe not want to come back, or maybe just like, or I don't know. I feel like sometimes, yeah. Right, you know? Even like, I feel like sometimes even when the parents like take a break, like it's not always like the priority to get them back right away, right when they get off their feet, right? It's like if you're struggling and you got to take care of other stuff, like this isn't like the priority, you know? So I feel like even just giving like some parents like that help when they need it, it's, I don't know, that's like shit that I've seen in the Care Youth League, or like I used to have an uncle, he would do stuff like that for us all the time, or like other kids, he would build stuff and take us to go skate at like little places, and he'd like leave the fun boxes and the ramps for like those kids. So it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things, like him and my mom always taught me pay it forward. Yeah. So that's like my thing. I just want to pay it forward and just keep giving back and giving that avenue, and giving like the same experience you had, giving that to the next person, the next kid. And
I love that idea, bro. That's a sick idea.
You know,
I hope you can accomplish that, man. Hopefully we can start a GoFundMe for a van. You know?
Yeah. I you know, I'm thinking, I know there's some people, bro, because I hate asking people for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping that some guy or someone that I know, because I know some people that have like little car things, and they pick up like these like little beaters and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm hoping maybe like I can just hit them up one day and be like, hey bro, can I get that thing on like on the low, or you know what I mean, or like
free trading, bro?
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do right now. So my son's teacher, his music teacher, he loves this guy. You can tell how.
What instrument does he play?
Well, he sings. So he teaches the kids how to sing at the church school, and he was like doing something out in LA, and he was like helping with the music stuff. And he said he was driving back from LA to Loma Linda, and he like blinked and just fell asleep and woke up, and then he flipped over his car and like jacked up his neck, and so he was like trying to start a GoFundMe for a car, like, and some other stuff, like. So I even put that out the other day.
I saw that.
I was like, if anybody wants to training for a car, like, I'm down, because I felt like, you know what, like if I can help him out, I don't know. I seen this post on Instagram one time. It was like, you'll never go broke trying to help other people out, right? And it's like, all I'm doing really is giving another kid, like I'm just putting a kid in this space. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm taking food from anybody, like bringing that kid in here and trading for that car. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've actually done that before. I had a student, he was like working out in OC, and then he had a job out there, and he was like, I can't go back and forth to school and work. And then one of my other students, they just got like a new truck, and her husband had like this little Honda. And then I was just like, hey, what's up with that Honda? And they're like, we'll trade you for like a year and a half.
No way.
Yeah. So he got a little car, and then he went to work. He went to his job. She trained. Everybody was happy, you know. And then
that's pretty tight, dude.
Yeah,
bro.
He would come and help. He was like helping coach the kids class. So like it was like everybody won, you know. Like he got the car for always helping, and then she got to like not have to pay, and then like now you got, you know. So it was like just everybody helping everybody, and that's why I'm hoping, like, you know, I think that I know that will happen. I'm gonna say it like that. I know eventually that's how it's gonna happen with the van too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, dude.
You know, so
yeah, man, honestly, if you put that energy out there, I mean, you seem like you do a lot for your people anyway, so people are going to see that. They're going to want to return the favor some way, you know?
Yeah, honestly, that's why I think I was really open to get on the podcast, because I feel like I'm not like one of those people that does everything to like say, look at me, this is what I do. But I also think like if what I do doesn't get out there, there's going to always be people who don't get that help, right? Because they don't know it's here.
Yeah.
You know,
that's where we're at. You know, you gotta. It's marketing, pretty much. You know.
So it's like I don't do this because like I want to be like, yeah, I'm gonna help the next guy and then get to post about it. It's more like I thought like maybe me getting my voice out there, like maybe there's like somebody in the community, maybe his cousins or his brother's sons can't afford to train, and they're down the block, and they're just like, hey, bro, I heard about this gym on the podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
I got a van, bro.
Yeah, whatever, you know, whatever it is.
Just pick these kids up, bro. Free candy.
I mean, the paddle van?
It's like the weirdest dude
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Weirdest dude shows up, you know, greasy ass hair. Oh, I heard you need a van to pick up kids.
Free candy.
I'm just kidding.
Free Muay Thai on the side.
Oh, man. That's so good.
Yeah. So I feel like stuff like that, it all works itself out, right?
Yeah,
I'm not going to stress out about it or I don't know. I feel like that's what kind of happened with me. Like this last year, we went through some crazy stuff with my family, and then people were like, make a GoFundMe, and then like you can throw like videos out there and people can help you. And I was like, you know what, bro, not to sound ungrateful or like, well, I need like, sometimes you need the help like now. Like, so it was like one of those things like, I'll just go work wherever I can. Like,
it's hard to ask for help, bro.
Yeah. And sometimes like you ask for help and like you don't get it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I know that's not the case for me, because I know more often than not when I ask for the help, people were always like, yeah, it's no problem. But I've kind of grown up, like, I don't know if it was like someone in my family or someone like maybe just made me feel that way, as like that I knew older. But I just like growing up, I just always felt like an inconvenience, like asking for help. Like even asking Curtis to do like the videos, like I always like, I'll like have it written out and I'll like send, or I'll make a like voice message, and I'll just be like, I don't want to bug him, man. He's so busy.
Toxic masculinity.
You know what I mean? And then I told Curtis that. I told Curtis like, oh, bro, thank you. Like I was like so worried to ask you because I felt like it's just going to be an inconvenience. He's like, bro, you're never an inconvenience. Like that's what friends are for. So it's just like one of those things like, oh man, like sometimes I'm more worried about the like what I think maybe it is like like you said, like, oh, if I'm asking for help. But I just feel like in the past, I feel like I've been kind of let down by certain people, but maybe that's me giving more to like certain people. I've also been more, I would say like more calculated with like who I give like that love to now, because I feel like a lot of people
jaded, bro.
Yeah, you know what it is like feeding the strays, right? Like kind of thing where it's like sometimes you can give to people who really need it and they really do appreciate it. But then there's some people who like just see it as like, oh, he's going to do that for you no matter what, or I'm entitled to that, or I should be getting that. Like, you even hear with fighters, you know, like, well, I pay you, or I give you this, and it's like, bro, you don't even know like what some of these coaches do for you, yeah, for pennies. Not only that, but it's like to get you the fight, to prep you for the fight, to take time off from the family to go to the fight. Yeah. And it's like, bro, we're not getting paid any of that. Like I used to always tell Vinny, like, bro, cornering you, like I have to have at least $200 in my pocket. Like, because we forget the buckets, the license needs to pay for, we don't have hand wraps, we don't, like, you know, and then you learn that, all that stuff. So like now I have like a hand wrap kit, but even like gas, like if we're driving somewhere, like, you know, it's like $200 in gas is like quick.
Time off,
you know
work,
what I mean? Time off of work. You know what I mean? If you have privates, then that's what mostly pays the bills, is like little one-on-ones and stuff. So it's like if you're not doing your one-on-ones because you're taking the time off, like there's money. And then like I work at another spot. So if I take the day off from that, there goes that money from that spot, you know? And it's like you said, like I said, I don't do any of that stuff to be like, well, this is what I'm doing for you. But it's at least like have that respect, you know, like take some of that into consideration, because Jesse one time told me, we were like on our way back from a fight. We were like driving, I don't know, it was like Bakersfield. And he was just like, this sucks. And I think I was like thinking that, but I wasn't saying it because it's just like, this is what it is sometimes. Sometimes you just drive.
A lot of that.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, what? And then he's like, fucking traveling. Like, it's just, he's like, I never realized like how selfless being a coach was until I started coaching.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Right?
They
And
just,
then
you don't understand
he's like,
you don't do it, you know?
He's like, when you were coaching us, like his kids, like, I didn't think about any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about you like jumping us in the car, picking us all up, it's just like, you just did it. And he's like, and now that I'm a coach and I coach, he's like, you see it. You see how like selfish fighting is and like how selfish you have to be as a coach. And then you have to be kind of okay with people being like, you know, and then sometimes you have to be like that as a fighter. Like you have to be not selfish in a way where you're like not being a good teammate. But you have to be thinking about yourself sometimes, you know?
You gotta grow, bro.
Like we were talking about the coaching, like when you coach and you work and you teach and you have a family, like, bro, that's asking so much from yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And then all the things you're doing, they're all selfless things, coaching, being a family man, working to support. I mean, yeah, ultimately it's for you, but like when you have a family, that you're working for your family, you know. Being a coach, you're coaching other people, getting ready for their fights, getting the beginners to understand it. So I feel like you're all that selfishness, and then you don't even get to give yourself any time to train because you're worried about everybody else, you know. So it's tough, man. I see it's like I said, I see it all the time. Like you see the guy who gets to just train, and I mean, kudos to that guy, however he put himself in that situation. But there's also a lot of guys who don't have that. They're working. They're working 9 to 5. They have 2 kids. They have families, or they're taking care. I've had students who are like, they take care of their grandma who's sick. Like, you know what I mean? They get out of work, they go take care of their grandma, and then maybe they come and train if they can.
Twice a week or something.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd love to give more time, but you know, I'm helping over here. So it's like, life could just be crazy, man. So it's like, kudos to everybody who's doing it at any level competitively, and you're even thinking about it, right? Because there's a lot.
That's what this podcast is for, bro. Because you know, I hope people can hear this and they're like, damn, I never thought about that, bro. Like my coach does some work for me, you know. And like I said again, it's like, it's not that everything's about money, but it's like sacrificing all that shit. Like if you're getting your bills paid and you have some money in your pocket, it makes it a little bit more worth it, especially when you have kids, bro. You know, but when you're sacrificing so much and you're like, holy shit, bro, this isn't even like, I still have to work a regular job. Just to keep the lights on at the gym, you know. That's
why I've tried to get away from saying sacrifice. I heard it on like a good like motivational, I want to say like podcast type thing, or like a webinar type thing, and the guy was saying like to get away from like, because I feel like sometimes like saying sacrifice, you almost build like that. What's that word?
Like there's a response to
it.
You
almost build like almost like I sacrifice. You almost build like not like a nasty, like a distaste, but it's, what is it called?
Like it becomes derogatory or something in a sense.
Right. Where it's like I sacrifice this, I sacrifice that. But at the end of the day, like you're not really sacrificing, because like whatever you're giving up time for, like you're investing it for something else. Yeah. So like I've tried to get the guys away from like, well, I'm sacrificing my party on the weekend. It's like, you're not sacrificing a party. You're investing for a title. You're investing to become a professional fighter. You're investing to become the top at the food chain of the amateur fight, of the fight community, right? Like you're not just giving up partying on the weekends. Like you're investing in yourself. And I think sometimes that's hard to drill into young kids, where like all they see is
the short.
All they see, and we look at it, it's like Instagram, right? Like what we were talking about, like the algorithm.
Rush, yeah.
All they see is the party. All they see is their friends go to EDC, the festivals, or they're drinking, or they're this, or they're that.
Yeah.
And they think they're missing out on but it's like, bro, you could do that when you're 50. You could sit at home and drink. You can go to a bar and drink. You can.
How bad you want is what it comes down to. If you want to do that, not the stop.
Yeah, you're like sacrificing. You're giving up time that you never get back. I feel like you don't have a good concept of time until you get to like a certain age, or 2, you've lost a lot, like I feel like I've lost a lot of people in my life as a young age. Like, my dad died in my 20s. Some of my best friends, took their life to suicide. I had another friend who got fucked up and died on a motorcycle. I've just lost a lot of family, stuff like that, friends. And I feel like when you get to like that, you don't take for granted. Like, you understand, like, life is precious and like time is like, it's short, right? Yeah. It's like you don't have time like you think.
No.
So I feel like not everybody gets that, right? You don't get that like sacrifice, or it's like sacrifice where it should be more invest. You know who blew my wig one time like that was I think you moved with him. His name was Jesse.
Jesse, which guy?
He had like a little flat top. Like an MMA guy.
I don't remember. Did you have the blue elbow pads? That guy?
Maybe. There's a picture of him in here somewhere. He was like one of my first MMA champions. He's a real nice guy. I remember like going to train jiu-jitsu with him. I was like in my 20s. He was probably like 15. And it was like a Friday night, right? And it's like more old timers, like the older crowd that's like in it to win it kind of guys.
Yeah,
like some
older guys.
Older competitors. And he was there with maybe like 3 other like teenagers. And then I was like, bro, what are you doing in here? It's Friday.
Like, I'm getting that work,
he's
bro.
like,
get better.
He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, bro, when I was your age, I was into music, and I was either playing a gig or I was like in the backyard pitting and having a good time.
Drinking.
Yeah, or like I was like partying, right? And then he turned and looked at me and he's like, this is my party. And I was like 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, this is my party. And I was just like, dude, if I would have thought like that, you know what I mean? Like, but sometimes you just don't, you know? And
you need to think like that for everything, bro.
And so now I think about that, and like I said, I try to instill some of that more like urgency into the fighters, because it's life is short, bro. Like,
it's important, bro.
You see people all the time. I think I seen someone. Sometimes people they go away under, you know, what would you like? Unexpected circumstances, right? Sometimes people they come and go in your life, and you never seen it coming. You never thought he was going to die at 20. You never thought he was going to have a heart attack in his 30s. You never thought this guy was sad enough to take his own life, you know? You never thought your dad was going to get sick and get cancer because he's like your superhero, you know? But
is that how your dad went?
Yeah, I remember he beat cancer one time, and then like the second time, bro, he was so sick. I remember I seen him and I didn't even know, like, I remember I seen him like after he passed, and I remember I was like, who is that? And then the guy next to him was like, that's your dad. And I was like, that's not my dad. And it wasn't my dad, bro. He was just so sick.
Frail and stuff.
I hadn't seen him, you know? So, life is short, bro. I lost my best friend a couple years ago. He was only 30. We were going to be 38. I don't think he was 38 yet. He was like 37. Someone told me I would have lost like one of my best friends from school, like in your 30s. I would have said, no. I would have like bet everything I have that I'd never lose a friend to a heart attack, you know?
Heart attack at
he went into a heart attack, and, you know, so God rests his soul, and happy Father's Day to you, Steve. We miss you all the time, bro. We always think about you, everybody, you know? But yeah, that was me and Vinny's best friend. He was like our training partner. He was always holding pads for us. He was like the captain of the comedy. He was crazy funny, bro. He was a character. Remember we were talking about like everybody's in character? Yeah, he was a character. Oh my God.
Man, that's sad, bro. You had kids too? That's sad, bro.
So, you know, like, life is short, man. So it's like invest early in the things that you love, because like you never know. You never know, man. You never know. Never know. Like, I think there was like, maybe even a while back, like I think he was like an MMA coach and ref. Like, him and his wife pulled off the freeway for like to change a tire or something, and somebody hit him. I think it was a cop too.
Oh,
yeah, drunk cop.
Oh,
he killed him. You know, so it's like, I bet you he wasn't thinking that. Like, not to say like, you know, I bet you he wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna get off the car and just change my tire, or we're gonna pull off and wait for AAA. You know, so shit happens, man. It happens. And so if you can get this younger generation to, instead of like, well, I'm sacrificing, because I think it becomes like becomes almost like ugly, where it's like, I'm sacrificing my time, I'm sacrificing this, and then they don't see like the instant gratification, where some of it takes like 10 years, and then it's like, I'm giving up everything for nothing. But it's like, no, bro, like even some millionaires don't make their millions until they're 40, 50, you know what I mean? Like, some of these guys had to fail so much.
Kentucky Fried Chicken guy, bro. Okay, the Colonel, he didn't, he was broke. Yeah. I thought he was like 50, bro, when KFC popped off.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I think even Walt Disney was a little bit older when he got started.
Life sucks, bro. That's just how it is, and it sucks, and hopefully it gets better, and that's the best you can do is just hope for the better, and you just make moves to help make it so that your chances of it getting better is higher, you know? Percentage goes up. It's sad, man. But hey, so I heard that I don't remember if it was you that told me or if it was Vinny, but you started with jits. That was your first love, right? Before Muay Thai?
No. So
that's how you said he met you, I think.
Yeah. So I started off with Muay Thai first. Because I used to wrestle in high school. I didn't want to wrestle anymore. But I started in Muay Thai, and I did about like 5 fights, and then one of my training partners got hurt. He was going to do an MMA fight. So then I was like, oh, I'll dabble, I'll get into it. So I started training a little bit of jits, and then I thought I was like hot shit. We were training without shin guards, and I kicked, and this right here, I fractured from here up.
Damn.
So I kicked like head, and then I was like probably like only 2 years in, and it's an MMA gym, and like the coach would kind of like sit in the corner, and like sometimes I he wasn't really like, he kind of gave us a lot of trust, honestly. And we were sparring one night, and I didn't have my shin guards, and I fucking head kicked. What the fuck was I even doing head kicking? You know
yeah,
what I mean?
With fair shit.
So so I head kicked, and he like blocked, or I kicked like high, and I remember I hit his elbow, and I was like, I put my foot down, and I was like, oh, like anytime I did this, I was like, ooh, like it's like
something's up,
like something's going up my leg. So it like immediately like ballooned up, like the
hematoma or something.
Yeah, like it looked like just a big ass bump. So I went home, and then the next day it fucking hurt even worse. So I went to the doctors, and then they told me like, it's a hairline fracture. It's like from here it goes up, and then I was like, well, do you want to put a cast on it? And they were like, well, you put a cast on it, the cast has to come up to here.
Yeah, so it'll move.
So then like you'll have to hobble on the crutches, and I was like, and they're like, we can give you it was a fiberglass, so like they put a piece of like here, and then they got it wet, and they molded it into cast, and then every day I would put it on with like one of those like ace bandage, and then I would still kind of like hobble around for like the first couple months, and then after like about a month, 2 months, I was able to like walk on with the boot, and then I was cool. And then I was like I was like a little hurt that like no one reached out. So I was just like, oh man, like I don't even know if I want to go back to that gym. Plus our gym had switched to another gym that I wasn't really that crazy about, because it went from like being a cool like family gym to being like just like commercial. Like if you're not paying for that class, get out. If you're not paying for this, get out. And it's just like, I'm not trying to get in here. I'm just like hanging out. Like I just kind of want to sit down and like talk to my coach, but it got to that point where I was just like, I don't even want to be here anymore. The original jiu-jitsu coach at the first gym I trained in Muay Thai at, I really liked him. He was super cool. And he reached out, and he was like, he's a black belt now. And he was like, just come and train jiu-jitsu. Like, you don't have to kick anybody. Like, you could probably train like the way you are, right? And I was like,
come to the other side.
So it sounds cool. So I went, and bro, that gym was like a murderer's row. Like, I seen jiu-jitsu prior to that, but I hadn't seen it like that, where I was just like, fuck these guys. Like, everybody in here is a killer. Like,
what gym was it?
It was Rodrigo Teixeira's. It was right up the street. It's not the same gym anymore. Don't be fooled by it. But man, at one time, that gym had probably one of the best teams in California. I would say that team could have, like, if that team was together today, they could have competed from like white to black with any team. Atos, Art of Jiu-Jitsu, like there was that many killers, and it was crazy because they were all right here. And it was crazy. That gym would be full. Like white belts would have to stand outside and wait
for their turn,
like to come in and get some rounds. Like it was that packed. You were like rolling in like like this much space, and the next guys were here. And then it was like being mindful of like the high belts. So it was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. But the work was so nasty there. I just remember like I healed and I started competing. So like I started getting good and I wanted to compete. So I just started competing. I started doing it. And then that's where I met Jesse, was at that gym. I met Adam's mom and dad at that gym. A lot of people that are here, we had to train jiu-jitsu sometime or another, or their kids are here now. I'm teaching their kids Muay Thai, but as dad, like I used to train with their dads. Yeah. So it was cool because they used to have a Muay Thai program there. And so I would always like throw dukes when the instructor, he was cool. He liked that I was a little scrappy. So so we'd strike and then he'd always take me down and beat me up. But I loved it there, bro. I loved the environment. I loved the culture. I loved like the people. I loved how like intense the jiu-jitsu was there. It was like no like butt scooting. Like these dudes went on the match like
they were
actually wanted, like when they went out there to compete, it was like they're going for the finish. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like, it wasn't like sports jiu-jitsu at like now. It was at the time, it was like real competitive. So I stood there for like 5 years, bro. And I fell in love with it. And then one day I was just like, I got to get back into Muay Thai. So I went to corner my homie at like a little grappling event, but they had Muay Thai there too. But everybody was doing grappling, but I heard some guys talking in the back, and I was like, that dude sounds like Vinny. And I look back, and I peek, and it was him and my homie Steve. And I was like, you guys are like doing this? And our homie Milk, they were just like cornering him like for a little grappling thing. They're just like, no, we're just in it. We're just
Yeah.
So
that was when he was like, when Vinny was at Kings or something, right?
No, not. They were naming at Kings. Yes, they're training out of I think out of Steve's garage. And long story short, like I would say like maybe like 2 years went by, and then I started training at Kings through my homie Steve, and then like a month later, I didn't know him and Vinny were already training there like together, but me and Vinny actually, he's gonna laugh at this. We have a term for each other. We call each other frenemies. We don't call each other that as much anymore, but there was almost like this love-hate between us, like, because as kids we got down.
Yeah.
Like we were like 15.
What did you get down for?
His friends like tried to beat up my cousin, so then like we went back to retaliate, and then it was just like an old school, like you see in some movie, bro. Like we pulled up, they were on the other side of the street, like 16 kids are rumbling, like the cars are stopped on both sides in the middle of the street. I'll never forget, bro. It was like Lark Allen and Cypress, like right in front of the little middle school. And we all just got down. We just like throwing dukes. And me and Vinny, we ended up throwing dukes. And then that was it. And then we ended up meeting again through a homie at this like trap house. But it was like a trap house before like the trap house was like considered a trap house. It's just like this fucking
just run down crack.
It was just crazy spot, bro. Like kids were just like running amok in that spot. But I seen him in there, and then I was like, what? So we were cool, like to an extent. But then at Kings, I think my homie Steve was like, I'm gonna go pick up Vinny. I was like, what, are you training with that dude? Which is funny because I think like a week before they had the same conversation, and he said like the same about me, like, well, you're training with him? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, and then it was crazy is like we'd all talk about it. And then what happened is like people phased out. So there was like 4 of us, and then it just became me and Vinny. Like one guy kind of dropped out, stopped taking it as seriously, and then the other guy got kind of busy. And then like the next thing I know, it's like, hey, you want to go to Kings? Yeah, let's go. So we're driving from Upland all the way to Kings, and we're like, and it was this little pickup truck, listening to whatever. We'd be listening to music. We'd be listening to Joel Osteen. We'd be listening to whatever. And I'd be like, he'd be like, listen, this is a good word. I'd be like, stop trying to convert me. And we'd just be talking.
This is the Joel Osteen, bro.
I think he was listening to Joel Osteen before Joel Osteen got in trouble for all the
weird shit.
Yeah, before he was
locking out
before he got
in city. And they flooded.
But you know what, bro? He did have like that good, like the marketing, right? Like he knew how to talk to people. So it's like one of those things like, I don't even think you need to necessarily be like, go to church. You can hear it and be like, oh, this is a good word, or, you know, I think that's what it was more for Vinny. And but we would just be talking shit all the way to Kings, and then like we would go to another gym out here in West Covina, and the guy would give us the keys and just be like, just lock up. So I remember like we'd be training till like 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning. And then I moved out closer to him. And then like the next thing you know, like we're just kicking it in the parking lot next to my apartment because we're just bored. So me and Vinny actually spent a lot of time together. That's like my best friend, my brother. I've had the pleasure and honor of cornering him in some of like the biggest fights of his career. Anderson Silva.
Yeah, you're in his corner.
The Anderson Silva one. He fucking bulldogged me and trucked my ass. I went to like hug him and grab him, and he like
picked you up.
He just hit me so hard. I was like, bah! He ran my ass over. I still laugh when I see like the fight footage from that.
That was a crazy fight, bro.
I've been with him for his 2 bare knuckle fights. I was with him when he won the IFS title. When he fought for his first titles, for his first fight. We've been together like homies like that for a long time, man. And yeah, it's a blessing to have him because he's probably one of the few like real, like he's real. He's a
solid dude, bro.
Yeah, he's
Every
real.
time I see him, he's like a family. It's funny because he doesn't look like how you would act,
no,
bro.
and you know, me and my brother have even told people that in the past, like, because I feel like I'm a little bit more like hot-headed or like firecracker. Where I've told people, they'll be like, "Oh, that guy Vinny," I'll be like, "Bro, he looks like it's like a dog.
Yeah,
he reminds me of a pit bull. Like he's a nice dog, and he'll kiss you, and he'll be. But it's like you make the wrong move, or you know, you push him to
Violent man, bro.
Push him to that point, like he'll fuck you up.
Dude, his fights are crazy, bro. Just in the pocket, bro. Forward pressure the whole time.
And then when he gets mad too, bro, he's like a different kind of mad too. Where I'm just like, oh yeah,
he's got the crazy eyes.
Yeah, we're just like, yeah, he wants to hurt somebody. So it's like, you know, I don't even think people are like used to even seeing that on a. We were talking about that the other day. I was like, some people like never even seen somebody like really mad. You know what I mean? Like they walk through life like, whoa. But then like the first time they see someone that's like, what, like. And they're like really with it, like you can get shook, right? If you're not with it, or you're just not even in that mindset, you're chilling and someone just like can turn it on like that. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like he is. He's like real cool. He doesn't want to be that way, but he can be if he has to be, you know?
It's just a trip because he's like a family guy.
Yeah, he's super cool. He's funny. Yeah, he's funny. He's funny, bro. He's got a good social media presence, and like, I would say what you see online is like, well, that's who he is too. Like, it's not like, it's not an act. Like, that's who he is all the time.
Dude, he's a funny guy, bro. Yeah, every time I see him, he just makes me laugh, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He's a funny guy.
It killed me when I seen that like video. Remember I was telling you about I bet you we could find it, but it's like he's taking like a rhino pill or something and like pounds like a Bang Energy. And I was like, this is crazy because like I told you, my homie, like from construction, who has like no ties to Vinny whatsoever, like he posted that, and I was like, bro, that's the homie.
Yeah.
You know, I train with him. That's my best friend. And he's like, what? I seen this on like I reposted it from a construction site.
He broke the third
and I told him,
wall,
he's like, bro, I went viral with that video, and it's funny.
But didn't he do like, wasn't he like an electrician or something, right?
So he's like a driver. So he drives commercial trucks. Yeah. So that's what it was. He was like in his like thing, and he's like, "This is how you do before the get down," and it's like it has the Fools Gone Wild. Yeah. So it went viral, bro. It went crazy viral. But yeah, that's who he is, man. Shout out to Vinny. So yeah, I hope he'll probably be on one of these too.
We've been trying to work it out, bro. I want to get it. He's like working and stuff, and then when he broke his hands, he had to like pick up a regular job.
He'll be good content. Dude, he's for sure.
Freaking hilarious.
He's a lot of fun.
I always see him around randomly, bro. He just always makes me smile, bro. He's a good guy, dude. He's cool. But yeah, he was telling me that I was under the impression you started with jits off of some of the stories he was saying, you know. And from what I understand, you were doing jits and then you hurt your back or something, and that's what got you back into Muay Thai.
Well, that's how so he got into jits. So he was like dabbling. So then I was like, oh, bro, I trained I was still training at King's, and then I was training at Rodrigo's right here. So like when I wasn't at King's, I was training at the jiu-jitsu spot. So I tell him like, come over on a Friday, bro. Like the no-gi's hot over here. Like, so he came through a few times, and then yeah, I probably was more into the jiu-jitsu Just because I was really enjoying like the culture. I would say the people, I just enjoyed the people a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then like the brotherhood. And then, like I said, I didn't come from like a 10th Planet or like a Gracie Baja. Like our gym was like as with it as you can get. I know that sounds weird.
Yeah, it was like a raw,
like jiu-jitsu, you know, but like that was like the probably like I don't see gyms like that anymore. You know?
For
like,
jiu-jitsu, just
it was just like raw. It was like real like underground. Like there was definitely like a family vibe there as far as how tight everybody was, but like the work was just so gritty. Like just like going.
I feel like it was here, bro.
Yeah, so it's like going from that to like some other places was like weird for me. So I was trying to get Vinny like, because I know he was training jiu-jitsu every now and then. So I was like, come over here, bro. This is like really good, like jiu-jitsu. Like you're gonna leave like dead ass tired and like, oh.
Yeah. Did he ever check it out?
So yeah, he went a few times, and then I was working a construction job and I f***ed up my back. I herniated 4 of my discs, and I have like a stenosis, I believe it's called. So like my spine like shifted a little bit. So it's not like here, it's like rocks a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, you know how your spine's like here. So like somewhere at the bottom, my spine is like here. So it's not down here. It's like a little bit shifted forward. Oh, let me turn that on. My bad, bro. And so it caused a lot of nerve damage down my legs. So I couldn't do jiu-jitsu anymore. I still really can't do it too much. There's like a lot of positions in jiu-jitsu I really can't like mess with. So like if I do mess with jiu-jitsu now and then, it's more like I don't really play too much defense because like I feel like the defense is where I get hurt. Like trying to keep someone from passing.
Yeah, you're like bent
so like
over
more now I just let them pass, and then like I work from that position, or like try to get them through the like as they're passing.
Yeah,
more like counter
or something.
Yeah. So but I got hurt and I couldn't do shit. I was like hurt. Like it was hard to get off my bed. Like my brother used to help me off a lot, and then Vinny was still getting ready. A lot of people don't know this, bro. I'm gonna release some undisclosed. But at that time, bro, I was like probably like crunching on like I would have my brother get me out of bed, and then I'd go to like a medicine cabinet and probably take like 5 Oxycontin and probably like 2 Vicodin.
Life, bro.
And then I would like pound it with like an energy drink. And then I tell Vinny like, come over, bro. I feel okay. And at that time I did, because I was like on like 8 pills. But then the next day I would be just in like, I'd be wrecked because I was already hurt. I wasn't like letting my body heal. So a time came where he was just like, I'm going to work with Steve because like it's too hard on your body. And I was actually like, you know what? I need to take some time to heal if I want to get better. So I started coaching through like a kid that was helping me with his mom was helping me with my workers' comp stuff because it happened at work. So she was helping me with my workers' comp stuff, and then like it was real stressful. So I remember like his mom was like telling me some stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna go outside for a second. I went outside to take a break.
Yeah.
And then he came outside and he was like, do you think you can teach me to compete and fight? I was like, bro, like I barely can get out of bed to like have this meeting with your mom. Like, I don't know how much I can do. And then I was like, you need partners. Like, I can't hold pads. This kid, like, it kind of reminds me, have you ever seen My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
Do you remember like how the first part of like the training where he just like cleans up the beach?
I don't remember
so,
that.
Like he like cleans up the beach, helps him like get ripped, but he also makes him like clean up the beach, like prove like he's ready for like
the next
like training or whatever. Well, my garage was fucked up. Like it was just like full of shit. Car parts, engines. There was like a motorcycle in there. I told Jesse, like, bro, if you can help me clean up the garage and like the yard and get all this situated, like maybe we can build something. He's like, I can get partners. So I was like, all right, let's get something. So let's do it. So sure enough, we built like this rack where you could put stuff on top, and we just started just moving stuff. I ended up getting a storage unit to put some stuff in, and then we matted out the garage. And then we just, he brought this kid named Aaron Beard, who I still keep in touch with. He's out in Oklahoma, I think. And And Adam and Noah, they were little boys, like 10 and maybe 12. Maybe Noah was probably like 8. Adam was maybe like 12. And those 4 were like the pillars. They just stuck with it. And I finally got to a place where I can hold a little bit for them. And thank God, like Adam and Noah were fucking kids because they weren't blasting pads. And then Jesse was more focused on his jiu-jitsu stuff as far as his MMA game went. So it was like more teaching him like to set up his takedowns off of like peppering and like using the jabs and like the kicks. So it wasn't like really like strenuous on my back until like I started teaching this kid Isaac, who was like, the kid was a monster on the pads and kicking and even sparring. But by that time I was already getting better. My back was getting better. Big shout out to the OC fight doctor, Dr. Kessler, his wife Lark. They gave me a place to heal when the workers' comp didn't even want to help me.
They're cool. They're cool people.
They're good people. They're like family. I watched their sons grow up. And so they helped me get to a place where like I was not only sleeping again, but I can exercise. I was like healing. I was able to hold pads. So then that's like kind of like the start. And then so from jiu-jitsu I broke off to coaching, and then I just never looked back. You know, my son came, and then it was like, oh man, it's like either I go like full on or I go like work a job and just like, you know what I mean? And then a bunch of the kids in the garage were like, we can do it. So dude, like with like 10 people, and
that was the
the OG, we were like a block down the way in a little building down there. I found a little building, and the guy worked with me for the first 2 years. And with those 10 people, we opened a gym, and
they're all mostly kids too, or
they were like about to be like about 17, 18. Yeah. So I would say like the youngest ones are probably like Noah and Adam. But all the other ones were about like 18 or 19. So they were all like working and then training. And I would say, bro, that's where like the gym, like it really took off. Like as far as like we were just started competing. Like I would say like this team's like been nonstop since I would say like maybe, I don't know, like before maybe like 2018. Like we were like nonstop. And even when COVID came back, we were like nonstop then. We were traveling to Reno, we were traveling to Vegas, we were traveling to Arizona to compete.
Yeah, you guys are active, bro. I always see you guys at the events.
Yeah, bro. So we're not like the biggest team, but like we're active. I would say like, you know, in some gyms, like people have like 40 students on the mat and only like 3 of them compete. I would say it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like there could be like 25 people on the mat and like only 10 of them don't compete. Like my whole kids class, there's only like 3 kids that don't compete. Like my whole kids class is active. And it's crazy is like these kids are like the next generation. So I can even see like how good they're getting from like progressively like where these kids were at their age, from like the stuff that I've learned with these kids. And now I'm like setting in motion with these kids. It's like, oh, well, I learned that with them. It's like you can never be too early to start certain things, you know? So it's cool, man. And yeah, I started out and that's jits, Muay Thai, jits, back to Muay Thai, got injured, and now I'm coaching. And I don't know, I have a friend, his name is Jeff, and he says, you know, everything happens for a reason. And honestly, I never really wanted to be a fighter. Like some of these guys, like they're like 10 years old, like I want to fight. Like I wanted to be a rock star. Like
yeah, you want to be a drummer.
I wanted to be a musician, and I wanted to like be like Tommy Lee and Gene Simmons, and like I wanted to tour the world and be with all these women and just
rockstar life.
Over excess of everything, right? But like that lifestyle was ultimately not the best for me, you know. And I feel like things happen for a reason, and like this lifestyle is good for me. Like I've made tons of good friends. My lifestyle is healthier. Like the people in my community, like there's just so many benefits and good things that have come out of coaching. that I sometimes, you know, like my friend Jeff said, things happen for a reason. And even sometimes that they're bad, like sometimes they ultimately lead to good outlooks or you know,
when a door closes, the window
you know,
opens sometimes,
so,
you know?
You know, maybe I was meant to be a coach and here to help my community and help people that need it. Cause I know there's not a lot of people that want to do that. They just want to do it. Right. I see coaches all the time. I've even been told by a coach, like, if you keep doing what you're doing, like, you're going to go broke, which, I mean, he wasn't,
though. It's not a lie.
He wasn't completely wrong, but at the same time, like, I've watched his gym kind of like go from like here to here. He doesn't even coach there anymore. He has like kids and other people running it. And like, I wouldn't say it's a gym I'd be proud of being the owner of, you know? And at the end of the day, like, at least I know what I'm doing. Like, we're giving avenues to other kids. We're giving avenues to teenagers. We're even helping adults that might not have had that, like, in their 20s, or, you know what I mean? Like, I work with adults who are just like, they'll say, I didn't have a childhood, or I didn't have this, or everybody was like, there's some people were just like so hard on them, they don't even know how to chill. Like, we were just like, bro, relax.
Dance recital.
Yeah,
piano,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know how to relax because everybody was always on my ass. And it's like, well, here you don't have to be like that. You know what I mean? Like, here's like that. The world is hard on you enough. Like, everything out. You wake up in the morning, you're getting some kind of alert for a bill or this, or someone's telling you you need to pay this, or I feel like the world's tough on you enough. Like, the last place, like, the world should be hard on you is here. Like,
we'll be hard differently.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I want to be, I'll beat you up in the most loving way possible.
Motivational, like, you know, get the ass moving, motivational, like, through what we're doing here. But I feel like at the same time, like, even if you're getting punched or kicked, like, the last thing I want you thinking about is your bills when you're here. Yeah, it's not gonna go away.
But there's an escape.
But at least here, like, give yourself that hour, the 2 hours to unplug from that shit, because God knows you're going to step out that door and into the car and you're going to start thinking about it again, you know? So it's like, at least here, I want people to that this is the, like, music was my escape. The drums was my escape. This is their escape, you know, like, nothing else. Like, what does he say? Dominic Toretto. He's like, for that 10 seconds, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want them to be, bro. Like,
yeah.
When they're in here, nothing else matters except for what they're doing.
Yeah. So for those of you that didn't, I don't know if we spoke on it, but this whole persona is based off of Rusty Shackelford. Even the Shaq system is based off of
Shaq system.
Dale Gribble. Yeah.
Rusty Shackelford. I thought that was the coolest.
I just love how you ran with that, bro.
I love that.
They know him as Rusty.
It was the coolest alias, and I was like, dude, if I ever not want to be known, I'm just gonna go by Rusty Shackelford. And that's what I did. I started my Facebook page under Rusty Shackelford, because I was like, I was like under that, I was going through that, like that revamp in life. Like, I was like not drinking, I wasn't like partying,
now, yeah.
Like, I was living a good life. I was like grappling, I was training, I was running every Sunday, I was like going to the mountains with my dogs. Like, I was like, dude, I don't want to be associated with people that just want to do drugs and party every weekend. So I was like, I would see my brother on, and I would see like all those people would always comment on all this stuff. So I was like, I'll just make Rusty Shackelford, and I'll put the Dale Gribble face. And then if people know me, they know me. And if they don't, they don't. And then when I started like cross training or going to little places, people would be like, you have a Instagram or a Facebook or something like that? And I'd be like, yeah, it's Rusty Shackelford. But I wouldn't think about like telling them, oh, that's my fake name. Yeah. I would just tell them, oh, this is my handle or whatever. And then I remember one time, somebody was like trying to find me, and there's like this whole mass confusion on like, I'm looking for Phil. And then the guy's like, there's no Phil here. And they're like, they told me he's going to be here. And then it's like, there's no Phil here, bro. So then I'm getting like blown up, like, hey, what the fuck? And then I'm like, I'm over here. They're like, they said there's no Phil there. So I run out and I was like, hey, did someone come in here looking for Phil? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, bro, that's me. And they're like, you're f***ing Rusty. And then that's when I figured out, I was like, oh, damn, bro, it's like taking on like a whole nother thing. And then Vinny would tell like Master Sean from IFS, this is Rusto, this is Rusty, blah, blah, blah. So then everybody knows me as Rusty. I'm telling you, the coach, Crew Walter knows me as Rusty. And then, like I said, I shaved off my mustache and the hair, he didn't even recognize me. I was in like incognito. So yeah. So that's the alias. So.
Yep. Rusty, it was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me into your home, bro. Thanks for the rounds, dude. Your team, awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Dude, I'd love to see your gym grow, bro. I mean, hearing your story from the garage to your first small section to now this, I think it's amazing, bro. And I feel like you've done it in a short amount of time, too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's cool. Keep pushing, bro.
Thank you for having me. That's why I felt like I kind of had to, like, maybe take the opportunity to be here because, like I said, I feel like not enough people know about the gym. I feel like people in the community do, but other people don't, or maybe even like people in the community aren't hip to like what we're doing. So, getting the name out there, and like I said, just if I can help people, I can help people. That's the goal. So thank you, bro. I appreciate it, and thank you for spending Father's Day with me, bro.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.
If you guys are around the Glendora area, dude, check out the Shack system. I wish I could tell you the streets, but just Google it. It's on the page. Check it out, man. It's fun. Every Sunday they do 2 hours of sparring. That shit was tight. Bye, everyone. Rusty, dude.
My brother. Thank you, sir.
That was tight, bro.